go, we can start. Start?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
let's
know I
go.
probably said that like 3 or 4 times, but yeah. So, what's up, everybody? Blood Moon Bobby here, and I'm back again with my friend Ross Siev. It's kind of interesting how we're here to talk about the Switch 2 when one of our first videos was actually on the original Switch. Do you still remember that, Ross?
Yeah, I remember we also played the 1-2 switching class before,
Yeah, well,
and that sort of like tech demo game.
yeah, I remember we played it at both. It was our college's video game development association and also our newspaper. Um, but
Yeah.
funny enough, the first video we did was actually right before my YouTube channel, Blood Moon Bobby, was even created. We were filming this video in name. It's Blood Moon Bobby, and it's named after the Disney show Star versus the Forces of Evil. But in a lot of ways, its origins are because of not this Switch specifically, but because of the Switch in a way. So yeah, so here to talk about the Switch 2, talk about the hardware, and all the games that they announced. Did you watch? Well, I'm assuming we both watched the Nintendo Direct, but yeah. So let's actually start by talking about the hardware. What do you think of it?
It's everything I expected it to be, Bobby. And oh yeah,
Yeah.
by the way, thanks for having me again for
Uh
this.
huh.
So just a preface, I don't plan to buy the Switch 2 when it comes out, mainly because of
Okay.
costs and like all the games. But yeah, like so for hardware itself, it's everything I expected it to be. Like obviously a larger upgrade to the first Switch, and also um like oh yeah, I looked at the specs, or well, just the hardware itself. Like it's supposed to be slightly weaker than the PS5, but slightly. But it's gonna be like I even heard that that your game, according to Eurogamer and Digital Foundry, um the Nintendo and Nvidia, they don't want to share the tech specs yet. So maybe we'll find out when it gets closer to launch. But yeah, I like the larger screen. I like the increase in frame rate, and also increase in frame rate and all that stuff. And yeah, it's just pretty much a direct upgrade overall. But um whether or not it's gonna make a mark with some people, because I heard like when I looked around online, some people are like, oh, like this won't replace the Steam Deck for me. or, or like it won't replace my Asus ROG Ally or my MSI whatever handheld it's called.
Yeah, I
But
see.
yeah, I'm still fine with playing my Steam Deck though. But
Uh huh.
yeah, and then because I haven't touched my Switch in like a while, because I've been like just playing like some of the latest games on it. But however, I feel like the Nintendo will have like companies will have to like optimize the games for the Nintendo Switch 2 to make it like look good. And but yeah, like I'm getting too far ahead of myself. But yeah, Bobby, I'm throwing this question back at you. Like, what do you think of the Nintendo Switch 2's hardware?
Yeah, I'm pretty much, I guess, well, admittedly, I'm more optimistic just because I'm kind of surprised at how capable it was. I think I, had my share of skepticism because I wasn't really sure if the Switch 2 could support things like 4K, 120 frames per second, despite the rumors. And, yeah, it does. I mean, they actually, and I was actually surprised just with the amount of stuff that Nintendo talked about in terms of the Switch 2's capabilities. When I asked my sister what she thought of the Direct, she said she actually had a hard time keeping track of all the specs and the capabilities they gave away. So yeah, Switch 2, larger 7.9-inch screen in 1080p. Unfortunately, it's not OLED, it's an LCD screen, but it does support HDR. Is it the console itself?
2077. I think the game will only be played at 30 FPS while docked,
Uh-huh.
which yeah.
Ooh.
But yeah, I also heard that Nintendo Switch 2 is going to have like NVIDIA AI powered DLS and 4K. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
like I
heard
said, and yeah, it is also going to have ray tracing too. But yeah, I think it just mainly depends on the type of game. If it's like Cyberpunk, I don't expect like ray tracing or 4K. But if it's like Mario Kart World or something, or like a game that came out 10 years ago, like Hitman, yeah, sure.
Uh-huh.
I expected it to be.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, and as for the price, it was more expensive than what I was expecting. I was kind of hoping against hope that it would be $400, but as of now, it's actually going to be $450. And if you want to get the bundle with Mario Kart World, that's actually 500. So, but in my case, although, I did wish it was cheaper, but I guess this is, it's what happens when the original Switch was a success. Nintendo is like, hey, let's capitalize on it. But funny enough, the Switch 2, it actually comes out pretty close to my birthday. The release date is set for June 5th, and my birthday is actually on the 10th. So I could probably convince my parents, because if I tell them that, oh, I'm thinking about getting a $450 console, even with my own money, they're going to think that I'm crazy. But if I say it's a birthday present, maybe there's a chance that it won't sting as much.
Yeah. Just hope that the tariffs won't like increase the price or something.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
yeah, there's still the last time I checked, there's still no word on when a new pre-order date for the Switch 2 is gonna be. I'm just hoping it'll be sometime soon. But yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh,
saw
and
some articles recently. I'm sorry. I saw some articles recently where people some pre-orders like are already happening in other countries, and those pre-orders, of course, are selling out. Like
yeah.
as much as people are complaining about it online, those are just the loudest people. But of course, there's always going to be like, people who just don't care about the price, who can just afford it, and they just buy into it nonetheless because it's the new hot system.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's mostly a US thing for now, but yeah, I'm not going to do the thing with the original Switch. I actually went to the midnight launch for that system. I'm not going to do that this time, just, give my family a break, and also just because since then, things get kind of crazy at night. So what I'm going to do, it's kind of like what me and my dad did for the 3DS launch, where instead of going to the midnight launch, I went to GameStop right when they opened the next day. So I think I'll just do that instead, because the most important thing is just getting the console itself. But yeah, by the way, I don't know. I might just be like not super caught up on memory cards, but I was kind of surprised when they said the Switch 2 for the most part will only work with micro SD express cards. The Nintendo website says the standard micro SD, micro SDXC cards and so forth will only work if you're transferring screenshots from the original Switch. Have you ever heard of micro SD express?
Um, Sort of. I know it's a bit more pricier than the regular like micro SD. And I suppose they had to do it because they want because the technology for like consoles is they moved on from like HDD for like hard drives and like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. So with Nintendo Switch 2, I suppose they want to make like the loading times faster, I guess, not and all that. So yeah, I can see why they moved on to the micro SD XC or whatever it's called. But yeah, actually, I need to look up how much it costs on Amazon
Yeah.
just to like compare the price. So, micro SD card express, let's say 120 gigabytes, for a SanDisk brand. No, wait, 256 gigabytes for yeah, SanDisk brand is $60 for the SDXC. And then let's see, and what about by itself? 256 gigabytes. Oh. And the was that the XC? Wait. Hmm. Oh, here we go. It's $20 without the XC.
Oh, I see.
So
Whoa, okay,
yeah.
yeah, that's a pretty substantial jump.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but as long as it makes games faster, like let's say something like Mario Kart World, I can sort of see it. Like because people now like ingrained like the days of waiting like a minute or two in a loading screen is like should be over. So yeah.
Yeah, and
So as long as people have the money for like a higher SD card, sure, why not?
yeah, and we'll get to games soon. But I was
Mhm.
also kind of thinking because I noticed with the original Switch, if they're first-party Nintendo games, they don't tend to take up too much space. But if they're third-party games, that's where you got to consider getting a micro SD, express card. So I'm kind of hoping that
Yeah.
maybe at first I don't have to like rent out and get one of the micro SD express cards. Like I could just go on with using the internal storage, which by the way is now increased to 256 gigabytes. Because my
Mhm.
current plan is I'm not going to transfer all my games from my OLED Switch to the Switch 2, just because this still works just fine and we don't need to do that. So I think as long as I keep my Switch 2 games, like if I don't add any of my OG Switch games to the Switch 2, I think I should be okay. But it's one of those things I'm sure we'll see, especially if I do want to get one of those third party games, which we'll talk more about in the discussion. That's a case where I might have to consider going out and purchasing a micro SD express card. But
Yeah, especially when some of the games so I have like what's it called? Game keys. Oh, that's what they call it. Well, you need to like they comes with a cartridge and you just like need to put it into your Switch
uh huh.
and just to play it, but you still need to like download like the rest of it online, which is I guess a slightly better system than just like what's the regular Switch, the first Switch, when you buy like a cartridge that comes with a game key, they just only give you like a download code to the
Yeah,
game. So that's just a waste of plastic right there.
I
But
see.
yeah, I can see I think Game Keys is like much better system, but I think only CD Projekt Red, they're the only company that's like eating the cost of like putting the entire game onto the game cartridge. The triple pack also did, but let's say over the years, if you just buy more and more games, or let's say some game patches, like I don't know, since Call of Duty might come to the Switch too soon. And you know how like you some people play 20 gigabytes if you just want to play the free to play game.
Uh
So
huh.
yeah, that sort of stuff like it just eats up the cost and your storage too. So like I said, the 256 gigabytes that costs like $60. You probably need to like invest in a higher gigabyte card for
Yeah,
like the much more powerful games. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
I see what you mean. But yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So we talked quite a bit about the hardware. Should we talk about the games they showed at the direct?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the games unintentionally. Sorry about that. But
It's
yeah,
okay.
like so like some of the games, the launch lineup, it's it is what it is. I'm not like too enthusiastic about it. Like this mainly I think I have some feeling that they might talk more about like other third party games like in the coming months,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully. But otherwise, what it talked about like was in the direct. Yeah, I'm not like too enthusiastic about. Like I could go on and on about Mario Kart World, but for the other games, it's yeah, it is what it is. I'm not like excited about it in a way. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no
For people
worries.
who like who's really excited about the launch lineup. But for me, like some of the third party games, I already have some of them, or some of these are like just cheaper on other systems. So like, you know, like going back to Cyberpunk, I think Cyberpunk is gonna be what like $70 on the Switch too.
Oh, I hope not.
And then on PC, I could just buy the game, like just wait for a sale and get it for like $30, like the complete edition with the expansion pack.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I guess the main caveat or the main like selling point is just like playing the Switch 2 on the go, like portable, which okay, why not? But yeah, so Bobby, what do you think about the launch lineup for the Switch 2?
I think generally the games they showed, both the launch title games and also the ones that are coming in the future, I think my general
Yeah.
reaction is also like pretty positive. I'll be honest when I say the times when I watched the direct and I got like super excited, it's mostly for nostalgic reasons. Basically, if there was
Hmm.
something in that direct that was even remotely related to the GameCube, like when they announced GameCube games are going to be on Switch Online for the Switch
Yeah.
2 and Kirby Air Riders, those were the ones where I was like, actually kind of like clapping and saying, yes, and stuff like that, especially as somebody, and we could talk more about Kirby Air Riders when we get to that, but it's because, games like that are like ones that I've been begging for years. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think I see what you mean, and it's tricky, and this is not to like defend the third party publishers. I think the tricky thing is just that when it's a entirely new console launch, they want to make the most of that
Yeah.
launch, and that's
Yeah, and
why.
it's always like every some console launch, there's always gonna be like ports of like older games, no matter what. Which,
Yeah,
it's fine. It's whatever. Because like, and of course, like with games just taking longer and longer to develop and costing a lot more. Of course, it makes sense to just put older games onto like the new system, just to like I guess for companies to like show to give like some idea or like some proof that like, oh yeah, these games that could run on a PS4 or PS5, it can run sort of similar on the Switch too, in a way.
yeah,
But yeah. And yeah, I kind of want to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades, like cartridge first, just to play on the Switch 2,
yeah,
which sure, I guess. Though if I recall, I think the PS5 they used to have like upgrades, like free upgrades. Like let's say we on Horizon Forbidden West, you could just on a PS4 you can just like upgrade a PS5 like for free. But for this one, yeah, you had to pay like $10 for each of the upgraded editions, which okay, I guess so. As but yeah, like they talked about like they went into like a bit of detail with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom where they have if you upgrade to the Switch 2, you can use the phone app, like an app on your phone, just to like access like lore and like community uploaded like creations, I guess. Which oh yeah, and also to like scan amiibos and they have like daily logins. Which hmm, I don't know why to put on a phone, but yeah, I wish they would also go. Did they go into like detail about the hardware upgrade with the Breath of the Wild or Switch 2? Like a 60 FPS or oh yeah. They announced the enhanced resolution and frame rates, and HDR can render more vibrant colors. Hmm. Yeah, I guess like yeah, hardware upgrade and all that, but yeah. But yeah, I heard that the Nintendo Switch 2 editions for these games at retailers they're just going to come with a Switch 1 cartridge in the case, but also with like the download code for the upgrade to the Switch 2. So you can like put your cartridge into either like Switch 1 or Switch 2 and just play the game, which is yeah, it's fine. Hmm.
yeah.
And yeah, so Bobby, what do you think of these Switch 2 upgrades for these existing games?
Yeah, I think because they're asking for more money and it's not just going to be a free upgrade. I think my mindset is if it's a game I already own, then I'll just play it on my original Switch. Or if it's a
Yeah.
game like they were talking about some of the enhancements that they're going to make to Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, since
Mhm.
that's a game that I'll just completely wait to purchase on the Switch 2. That's kind of my take on it. I mean,
Yeah.
I get why. I mean, to kind of play devil's advocate, I get why they want more of a charge for the upgrades, because especially if they're gonna add things like HDR and more frame rates, it's like oh, okay, I could see why that would cost more development dollars. But I have my own ways to kind of get around like
Yeah.
asking for more. It's like I would only
Yeah,
jump
and
on it if I don't have the
won't these
game.
games cost like $70 or $60 just for the let's see. I'm going to the GameStop page right now. Oh yeah. Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. is gonna be $80.
Whoopee.
And Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Switch 2 edition, and Super Mario Party Jamboree, the also Switch 2 edition. Those are also gonna be $80.
Yeah.
But Breath of the Wild, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition will just be $70. Hmm. I think it's just like I think it's just better for people to just buy the Nintendo Switch 1 version if it's on sale or whatever, and
Yeah,
then
I
just buy the
agree.
upgrade pass. Yeah, because it just seems like there's no other benefit for just paying like the full 80. Mm-hmm. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as you mentioned Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I was just kind of like, thank goodness I bought it on the OG Switch. Because even if I wanted to play it on the Switch too, I would just transfer my current save. I wouldn't even touch the upgrade pack, to be honest.
Yeah, but I guess it depends. Like if you're playing on a Switch 2 a lot, and then you just want to like have the convenience of like continuing your playthrough on on the new system, then you can
Yeah.
just like switch between switch between. So you can like
Nice
move
pun.
between like the two systems, yeah, if you want to. But of course, I wonder how I wonder how the saves are gonna work. I wonder if it's gonna be like if you need a Nintendo Switch Online account to like transfer your saves because or that or like maybe one person can access like an account on one system at a time. Like yeah, if say you played Kirby on Switch 1, someone else wants to play Kirby on a Switch 2 with the same account, maybe you can't play on the same account. Yeah, because
Yeah.
otherwise the saves are gonna get like clash together. Which yeah, and the same thing with the Steam. Yeah, I tried to play Steam on my PC, then play Steam Deck by myself, and yeah, I can only play on one system at a time. I
Yeah.
double task a lot.
Yeah, so I think
But
something like that. I think going back to the save data transfer thing, I think that's something that would require a Nintendo Switch Online account.
yeah, paying $20. Wait, yeah, it's $20 a year, but they haven't announced like any sort of price increase yet, right?
I hope not,
I hope not.
especially yeah, because the expansion pack is even more.
Hmm. Yeah, and they even like talked about the Nintendo Switch Online, like the new stuff they're adding to it, but we'll get to that later. But yeah,
Okay.
for the rest of the games, oh yeah, the release date for Mario Kart World is going to come out the same day as the Switch 2, and then Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to come out on the 7 and 17. So like like a month and like a week later,
Oh,
basically, after the Switch 2's launch. Which sure, why not? Give people more time to play Mario Kart World, I guess.
oh. Actually, in my
But
notes, I
yeah,
have July 15th for Donkey Kong Bonanza.
yeah, I'm just looking at the GameStop page right now.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza, that was actually one of the genuine surprises that I personally felt
yeah, same
watching
thing.
the direct, especially because, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the first time they've done a 3D Donkey Kong game since Donkey Kong 64?
Like a 3D space for Donkey Kong. Yeah, it's like they were basically saving the best for last for this one.
Yeah,
Which yeah, and when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, this looks interesting. I'll always miss the classic rail designed Donkey Kong. Like I know why they had to like move on to the new one because I think this what account if you call this like illumination designed Donkey Kong?
yeah, I see what you mean.
Illumination like from the Mario movie, the Seth Rogen Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
We can call it Illumination Donkey Kong or Seth Rogen Donkey Kong, but whichever. Um, but yeah, the game, yeah, looks like a really interesting upgrade or like a really interesting take on the character and also the game itself because now it's like deals a lot more with digging or you can like I saw in some previews they said that you can like dig literally anywhere you want,
yeah,
which sure. Yeah. Like I played it reminds me like I played this one game that came out like 2 months ago called I think it's called like a game about digging a hole. It's like a $5 cheap game and just like dig a hole in your backyard and just to like reach to like the bottom. So yeah, was that kind of technology for like Donkey Kong? Yeah, it might get like a lot of people who's just like who are just interested in just digging holes, I guess.
I
I mean, I like
guess.
to dig holes. Yeah. When I was a kid, I really loved to dig holes. I dig like so much holes in my grandparents' backyard. I got yelled at. And sometimes I still like to dig holes. Yeah. Sometimes I would find treasure too. Like when I dig a hole in my grandparents' backyard, like I found like a wooden spoon.
Uh-huh.
And then my grandpa told me to just like put it back where I found it.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I found like an antique. I found like treasure right there. That's like history. But yeah. So yeah, with Donkey Kong digging a hole, yeah, it looks pretty interesting, and I'm wondering how they're gonna like um handle people like who's who's gonna take the time to like trying to dig a hole like in every single part of the world and all that.
Yeah, I see.
But yeah, and I hope like when I look at the gameplay right now, I wonder if any of this dirt is gonna like be what's it called? I guess respawned in a way. Between that and Mario Kart World, those are the main two games I'm just like more curious to see more information of because yeah, it looks pretty good so far. But would I buy it on launch day? I don't know. I'll just wait and see, like for more info.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think of a Donkey Kong Bonanza, Bobby?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely the kind of game that I would do Twitch streams with my sister. I don't know if you've been watching, and not to plug my Twitch channel here, but my sister and I have been streaming Astrobot, the PS5 game. So it would make
Yeah.
sense something like a Donkey Kong Bonanza could come in as a sort of like the next game on our list to
Mhm.
play. So far, we're just going back into Astrobot to collect all the other like extra robots in the game. And
Mhm.
yeah, well, you could see I'm wearing a Donkey Kong t-shirt today, so I guess
Nice.
it's, super fitting. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I liked the trailer, and yeah, come to think of it, yeah, I also thought Donkey Kong looked kind of off, I guess you could say, in that I guess I was expecting that he was gonna look the way he did in like the Donkey Kong Country Returns game or the Super Smash
Yeah,
Brothers
I think it
games,
was
but
pretty clear. I think it was pretty clear when they teased Mario Kart World. Wait, was Donkey Kong in that teaser for Mario Kart World? I because I recall chatter online about like the new appearance for Donkey Kong, like way before the Switch 2 was announced. So yeah, I think that's like yeah the design moving forward too was him and like just Nintendo products going forward.
oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, Seth Rogen Donkey Kong. Okay,
Yeah.
sure, why not? I mean, kids nowadays now they're growing up with like the movie and Odyssey and all that. So sure, why not?
Yeah.
But whether or not if Donkey Kong is gonna speak in the game, well, would you even want Donkey Kong to like speak in the game and then when you play the game you just hear like Seth Rogen's like his laughter
Yeah, I kind of well, I
like
think they're just going to stick with like how, he doesn't have much dialogue cuz I heard that
okay
I once
that's a
heard
shame.
many oh, go ahead.
No. Yeah, I was like that's a shame that he's not like I sort of want to hear the Seth Rogen voice in the game just because it's gonna like and it's not it's gonna be funny just to hear people's reactions to it like if it's in the game and they just give it like a campaign or something
Yeah.
but yeah that's fine yeah
All
sorry
right.
Bobby sorry what you were saying
Honestly, I lost my train. Actually, no, what I was saying was I remember once hearing many years ago, like with Link, the reason why he has like next to no dialogue in many of the Zelda games, let's not get into the CDI games, it's because Nintendo and the development team, they really want you to feel like you're in Link's shoes, so that's why they don't really give him dialogue. And also, I feel like my dad would point out if they did give him dialogue and they had to translate it into all the languages of the world, that's more money on Nintendo. So there's kind of both a creative and also financial reason why. But if I were to guess, probably not. And if he does talk, it'll just be in like, speech bubbles, pressing A and things like that.
Oh yeah, sort of like Mario and the Rabbids games, like
Yeah.
all the characters just speaking. Yeah, that. Yeah, I guess so. But okay. And let's see. So in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, let's see. You want to talk about Mario Kart World because because that's gonna be like the game that's gonna come out like the same day as the console's launch.
Yeah, and I was really happy to hear that because I felt kind of bad that when the original Switch came out, Mario games, I don't think people want to see me play Zelda game. I mean, it's fun, but I'm kind of something I'm not very clear on. And I asked my sister about this, but I'm still not entirely sure. Is it that if you're playing the Grand Prix, when you go from one stage to a next, is there still going to be like a loading screen, or do you just go straight to the next stage? Like, I was kind of confused by how they described it.
I sort of this game called Forza Horizon on Xbox.
Yeah, I
So I've
played a
been
little
playing.
bit of it.
Yeah, I played that too. I suspect that like stages where you can like customize like create your own racetracks, but also stages. I feel that like yeah, some stages might be like handcrafted. While the and yeah, I saw like the IGN preview. They also talked about how when you're in the open road section, um yeah, you pretty much have to travel like uh in between grand like racetracks. And but in between there's like also other secrets you can discover just like in Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
yeah, like in Forza Horizon you can do like you can discover new cars or smash into like collectible. I don't know, it's like sometimes with these open road games, I don't know, it's like sometimes it feels like a bit too much in a way. But I think for Mario Kart World, it's definitely a new system that I'm more curious to see like more information on. And yeah, I also wonder if they're gonna have like any DLC for it too, just like Forza Horizon or Mario Kart 8,
I'm pretty sure.
because they have like new tracks and all that, and new characters too. Like yeah, speaking of the characters, Mario Kart has been like really what's it called? Really like squeezing the character roster, like just they're just trying to find anyone now.
Yeah.
Instead of just using like past Nintendo characters like Link or Donkey Kong again. I mean, yeah, they have Donkey Kong, but like Link or the Animal Crossing villager or me. Um, they're just using like random like background characters for the drivers.
Yeah, my
Like I
sister
was like
thought
I
that was
saw
funny.
the yeah I saw like Blue Sky that like people were reacting like to the cow driver.
Yeah.
Like even the creator of Gravity Falls, Alex Hirsch, also said he was also excited to see a cow driving. So yeah, like people were also like memeing on that too, like making fan art of just a cow driving.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
it's kind of funny.
surprising.
But otherwise, like I do want to see like just more drivers in the coming like months or years. So yeah, maybe hopefully soon, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, with Mario Kart World, how do you feel about the $80 price point for it?
Oh,
Do you think like it might push people to just buy the console bundle,
it
or do you think like some people are like, okay, I only have $450 on me. and I want to save it up for. I want to save my $50 for something else, so I'm just gonna get other games.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then, oh my gosh, yeah, oh, yeah, I gotta look into the Switch 2's game prices more. It's funny because right before the stream started, I was kind of debating, do I want the bundle or do I just want to buy it separately? But yeah, they're saying $80 up front, and there's a part of me that's like, why? I thought that it would be like 70, but, if that's
Yeah,
the case, it just makes me want to consider the bundle even more. I almost feel like at this point,
yeah,
my only reason not to get the bundle is if that sells out, which I'm pretty sure it's gonna sell out
it
if
will.
I
Yeah,
don't like
like
jump
I
on
think
it
Mario Kart 8.
quick enough.
Yeah, yeah, I think Mario Kart 8 is like one of the best-selling games of all time.
Yeah,
Primarily because, yeah, same thing with like Wii Sports, because those games are bundled with the systems, the respective systems.
yeah,
So with Mario Kart World, Nintendo is hedging bets on that game being like the best-selling game, like topping the charts again. Let me look it up on Wikipedia, like best-selling games of all time.
yeah. Because that way, and even for like people who are gonna use the argument of oh, that's giving like Nintendo their money. It's like, what's more expensive, buying a $450 Switch 2 with an $80 Mario Kart game, or getting a $500 Switch 2 that includes Mario Kart World. So like, even using the
Mhm.
don't give them extra money, it's like it's still cheaper than the buying the Switch 2 by itself and then getting Mario Kart World as a separate
Yeah.
purchase.
So according to Wikipedia, let's see, one, two, three, four, five. Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe is the top fifth best-selling game of all time. Like right underneath somehow Ark Survival Evolved, but
Uh-huh.
above PUBG Battlegrounds. Like it sold 75,800,000 and 10,000. Yeah. 75,800,000 copies. But of course the game came out on a Wii U and then on a Switch. So yeah, I guess. And um but yeah, I feel like most of they just want to make people buy the bundle a lot more,
Yeah.
which sure, why not? Hopefully it still stays like that for like maybe for a year or two,
Uh-huh.
because I'm pretty sure the first year for the Switch 2 is just gonna be like constantly sold out, and people are just gonna like making memes or like complaining about scalpers online.
Yeah.
And
I mean, right after they had that big presentation in Tokyo, the next day I was at my local GameStop waiting in a pretty short line. It wasn't like, all the way around the block, just like little line, maybe not even 20 people, and just like standing there waiting for the store to open, and I pre-ordered it. So I think the best chance for a lot of people is just having to go to a store, not necessarily GameStop. It's not like my video is not sponsored by them or anything like that, but that or Best Buy or wherever, and going there, because if you go for the website, you're going to have to deal with the scalpers and the bots who could buy it literally as soon as the pre-order.
will like trying to dissuade any, but I think it might be, yeah. Um,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean that was
But good
why.
thing, yeah, good thing I'm not planning on buying it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was why I think what made the scalpers really tricky when like back when the PS5 came out, that was still during COVID, so a lot of people did not want to like go out to like GameStop or Best Buy, be more open to like going to store. Although they're still probably gonna have to go right when they open, so that could be kind of discouraging to a lot of people. But yeah, I guess for me
Mhm.
that's, well, I mean, it's not why I got into a routine of waking up at 7 a.m. every day, but it's nice. It has its benefits.
Yeah. So were you successful in trying to pre-order the Switch 2 or something like when you went to that GameStop? Or they just did not accept any pre-orders yet?
Oh no, I mean, ever since Nintendo said that we have to hold off on pre-orders for now, I just kind of sat back. I guess technically I could still try. I remember, this is related to cars, but I remember when Toyota was coming out with this a sports car, I did a stream on my second channel where I had some people come in and say, "Hey, I pre-ordered the car even though Toyota didn't announce that the car was coming to the US." So there might be,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just kind of concerned there might be some GameStops out there who might be doing this. Again, disclaimer, I don't know for a fact. I'm just hope
Mhm.
that's not a thing. But yeah, when they do announce a new pre-order date, I think I'm going to try like going out to the local GameStop to pre-order it because frankly I don't really mind going out like super early in the morning. If anything, I kind of wished I was the kind of person that could get up at like 5:30 or 6 because I got back into cross country running, so that's why.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So let's see, Mario Kart World. So yeah, you plan to buy the bundle if it's available. But
Yes.
if you can't get the bundle, do you still plan on buying the system, or are you just gonna like hold off on it until they do a restock?
Yeah, it's tricky
Because it's
because
like
like I'm the
you just end up like saving $30 if you don't if you just like buy the bundle, you know?
Yeah, and I mean it's tricky because I, run a YouTube channel where I try to like stay on
Hmm.
top of gaming announcements, and it's the kind of thing, and I'm that kind of person. I almost act like a kid on Christmas, where it's like if I get a new console, new camera, new computer, it's like I want to like get it in my hands as soon as I can. So it's
Hmm.
tricky. It's like it's the kind of thing I'm gonna need another day to decide what do I want to do because I
Yeah.
think if the only possible way to get the Switch 2 for me is just to buy the console itself, I probably will do that. But the
Hmm.
question of am I gonna buy, and yeah, that's the tricky thing about Nintendo is that they usually don't. Uh, oh, Ross, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
you had a connection error
Yeah,
for a
I
bit.
apologize.
Yeah, it's
Like
fine.
I said at the beginning, I've been having internet connectivity issues for the last week. I'm just hoping that they're getting ironed out. But we'll
Okay.
continue.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. What else did they announce? Oh yeah, they announced like a wheelchair sports game.
Yeah, Dragon
Hmm.
Drive.
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, I guess so, but it's no Splatoon in a way. But yeah, I mean, they just announced it, so maybe there might be like more features in the like I don't know soon, I guess.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I'm
Let's see. It's
yeah, I
like
mean, I don't really, I mean, I don't play basketball in real life, but I thought it was kind of interesting. By the way, I was kind of wondering because with Dragon Drive they were showing, it's one of those games that works with the Switch 2's new feature where you could take like your, Joy-Con and use it like a mouse. Do you think Nintendo did that? I mean, well, one, they like to do a lot of these like, interesting things with controllers,
Mhm.
but do you think it's also a tactic to try to get more Steam games on the Switch 2, make them easier to port over?
You mean like games that you can just get the feeling using a mouse? Like they did announce like Civilization. I think
Yeah,
was it
Civ
five or
7.
six coming to Switch? Yeah. I think that's like might be proof that yeah, it might be a proof of concept to get like, other tactical games onto the Switch or just to like let other developers embrace like a new type of controls gameplay, like optional, hopefully, not like not mandatory. Um but yeah, I know what I mean by Steam games, but I think just like yeah, just PC games or just like games where it feels more like yeah, I don't know how to describe it. Like it feels more fluid, I guess.
Yeah.
Like controlling like a mouse on a PC or something. Like you play a first person shooter game and you get like a better controls with like using a Joy-Con, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe, but we'll see. Because I don't know if there's like a lot of people out there who would want to play Civilization on the Switch than they would do on a PC. I've yet to
Yeah.
meet anyone like that.
Yeah, I see what you
But
mean.
yeah.
Admittedly, yeah, it's actually a good point because now I'm thinking, well, if my sister and I do give Dragon Drive a shot, I guess I'll have to make room on my table so that, we could use the controllers like a mouse. I mean, of course, I'm
Yeah.
using a mouse to like, control my computer, but it's like we're gonna need two of them.
Yeah, and related to that, controllers themselves too. They talked about like controller attachments for like from a Switch 1. Because I have a Ring Fit Adventure and Nintendo they did release like a chart of like what attachments and controllers are going to be compatible with the Switch 2. Like they said like I could play Ring Fit. I think I could play Ring Fit Adventure on a Switch 2, but of course the hoop controller attachment won't work with like the new Joy-Con. It only
Oh,
works with the
okay.
old Joy-Con. So that means so I wonder if that means like I could still use like the Nintendo Switch 1 Joy-Con on a Switch 2. Or if I could use like my old controllers on the Switch 2, like any sort of Switch 1 controller, like the Pro controller or like a third-party controller. Or yeah. Um let's see, controller compatibility. But yeah, it's like and some controllers, let's say still looking up on GameStop, it's still they it hasn't gone up in price compared to the first Switch. Like, well, I mean, maybe it has gone up in price depending on your outlook on it, but just one Joy-Con by itself is $50, and I think it was $80 just for two Joy-Cons, right? Oh yeah, two Joy-Cons for the Nintendo Switch 2 is $90. So how much was it for the
Yeah, and it's
Joy-Cons for the Switch 1?
tricky. And like, come to think of it, I think the reason why it's not gonna work with Ring Fit Adventure is because since the Joy-Con 2 are magnetic, whereas on the original Switch it
Yeah.
used that railing. So if I mean, I don't know, if this is comprehensive, but I'd be kind of curious, or I'd be kind of concerned if you have an accessory that requires like sliding in the Joy-Con,
Hmm.
because if that's the case, it may not work with the
Yeah.
Switch 2 Joy Cons.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, they have a on the website. They said that you can use your Joy-Con controllers with the Switch 2. You can pair it wirelessly, but you cannot like actually connect to it, of course.
Uh huh.
Um, and then let's see, cannot be attached to Switch to a Nintendo Switch console or compatible accessory such as a Joy-Con charging grip or charging stand is required for charging. Yeah, you can use your Pro controller. You can use the classic controllers that you can buy from the Nintendo website, like the Genesis control pad or Nintendo 64 controller. Let's see what else. SD card, Joy-Con grips, leg straps. Yeah. So yeah, it's nice that you can use like the old controllers for the Switch too, like if you want to, or if you just like don't have enough controllers in the house and
Yeah.
other people want to play on it, yeah, just give them like the old controllers.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah, I
my
guess so.
sister is gonna feel like she's getting like hand-me-down controllers. But yeah, that's a good thing to bring up because like every time, or at least until very recently, whenever my sister and I get a new console, we usually have to get a second controller so that she could play.
Mhm.
And you mentioned the prices of those like additional Switch 2
Ye-
controllers, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
it's like
oh,
$10 more than the Nintendo Switch 1 controllers now.
yeah. But yeah,
Mhm.
so if for instance, I mean, if she can, like, if we're playing Mario Kart World, if I could just give her my Pro controller from the original Switch, that would help a
Mhm.
lot because the Switch 2 is already expensive as it is.
Mhm. Like the Pro controller for the Switch 2, okay, speaking of which, is like $80.
Uh
And
huh.
then let's say controller for the Switch 1. I mean, I don't see any sort of like new changes for the Switch 2 Pro controller. Let's see, H2 Rumble 2, built-in amiibo functionality, C button for game chat, audio jack, motion controls, capture button. Oh yeah, the buttons on the back of it, the two
Yeah.
GL and GR buttons, which I never use on like my other controllers. So, sure, why not? But a Pro controller for the Switch 1, that's huh. Oh, huh. Oh, here we go. $60 for the Switch 1. according to GameStop. But yeah, so this new controllers is like $20 more now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Eesh.
I'm just like, I'll just hold on to my OG
Yeah.
Switch
Like, yeah,
controllers.
if people really want to use the C button that bad, like, yeah, we can talk about like the C button and that new like Nintendo Switch Online functionality soon. But yeah, the controllers, yeah, it's nice I can just use the old ones pretty much. Like I'm not gonna like miss any of the like new stuff they're gonna use.
Yeah, I
Especially when
agree.
I play like I really play games using the Joy-Cons, like because I use my Pro controller because it just feels so much better.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so yeah. All right. So what are you gonna say, Bobby?
Well, I was just saying, yeah, because when we could talk, yeah, about game chat, it's just that I don't have much to say just because I don't think I would use it practically. I've used Switch Online's voice chat before. Talked to my friend Gabby when we were playing Animal Crossing, I think, but it's when I do play games online, like I almost never use the chat. Like that's just how I am. Usually when I play video games, I usually like playing single player. And if I do play with friends, I'll go to their house. Like there have been times I'll go to my friend Gabby's house and we'll play Super Smash Brothers with our friend Steven. It's very rare that personally I would play online. I mean, as is like the game chat, it's kind of cool. To me, it's the thing where it's like on paper it's kind of cool. It's just it's not really a feature I would use because there are other ways to get it if I really have to talk to friends. Like I literally
Yeah.
could pull up Facebook Messenger and like voice chat like my friends.
Or
If
Zoom.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good way to avoid like using the Nintendo Switch online app. Although I do still have it on my phone just in case. To be completely honest.
Yeah, I guess it's a better system than like sort of using the voice chat on the phone, like or through the Nintendo app.
Yeah.
But also, in a way, it's like I don't think I feel like Nintendo was like influenced by like Twitch streamers and all that,
Yeah.
just to like they got the camera and all that. Um, but I know that's just like pre-release concept and all that.
Mhm.
But judging by the video itself, one, the quality of the camera doesn't look good on like the people, and two, the frame rate looks kind of bad too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
it's
yeah, I
not
mean,
yeah, it's just it's a gimmick, sure, but Nintendo still seems kind of like thinking backwards or like thinking the wrong way on what people want from an online like group chat or like party type of experience and what I guess. But I guess what I guess some people connected together. I have not seen or like read any sort of like person who actively uses the voice chat for Nintendo Switch. But uh, but it's nice that Nintendo they're giving like what a 1 year free trial, I guess,
yeah.
just to like let people try it out. But I think the only main difference is that people need to buy the that Nintendo Switch camera for like $40. Or is it $40 or is it like 60 or 80? Oh my God. But I heard like this Nintendo Switch 2 camera that's like shaped like a piranha plant. That is somehow gonna be $20 cheaper than like the regular Switch camera, like the black looking one.
Yeah. By the
Which
way, the regular Switch 2 camera is $50 or
okay, okay,
49.99 if I know I have some people who get very particular about prices, but yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah. It's not something I'm like. I don't think I'm ever gonna use that ever.
No, I wouldn't
It's
either.
just like no.
I,
I don't stream a lot or I don't stream at all. And yeah, it's if I want to chat to someone, I just use my phone, and I'm pretty sure that's all I have my phone and it's free. I don't need to pay $50 for it.
yeah, especially
So yeah,
well, on Wi-Fi you still have to pay internet connection, but it's like if I use Wi-Fi, I don't have to pay extra. And the other thing too, yeah, when I saw it too, it was pretty, kind of choppy, laggy, which it's kind of, well, I kind of give them pass a little because it's prototype, and also it probably is dependent on internet connection. I mean, even this discussion we're having right now, we're having our share, or at least I'm having my share of internet connectivity issues. I'm sure on your end, it's better. I think the only thing that I thought was kind of cool was that green screen effect they show, where you could have a thing where
Yeah.
it's like you're standing here and have the game behind you, because like in my current setup. I mean, my background is blurred, but like I don't have space to put a green screen, much less like
Mhm.
space to put like lights for that green screen. And if you don't get the lighting on the green screen, right, you could have all sorts of issues. So that's kind of cool. I know like some people do that effect on YouTube videos, but is it something that I must do when I get around to do streaming Switch 2 games? Not so much. And I'm already using a Logitech webcam, by the way, so it's like, do I need to purchase another webcam? The microphone technology, I'm sure it's used elsewhere, but I thought that was kind of cool, where they're like you could have it docked, and even if it's not close to you, you're still able to chat with friends. I'm not really sure if it's gonna be like so effective, where like a friend of yours could blend a smoothie and your friends can't hear the smoothie being blended, but it's a thing where it's like interesting, but like I don't think I would use it because I have like more like affordable ways of like communicating. Bless you.
Thank you. But yeah, they and to follow up on that, they also announced the game show where you can play like compatible like you can share your game with like other people. I think it was like that was the Switch one, right? Game show.
Or at least in that it's also coming for the Switch one as well, because they showed that you could also transfer a game to like the original Switch
Okay.
or the Switch Lite.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And just one person just owns the game, and then you can also like they just let other people who don't own it play the games along with them as long as they have the console.
Yeah,
Which it's much better than like doing split screen, I guess. And it's kind of like it reminds me of like how Hazelight Studios has like It Takes Two and Split Fiction, where you just only need to buy one copy of a game, and then like you just let and then you can just invite other people to play with you. Yeah, that's
yeah,
pretty good. Mhm. Well, as
yeah.
long
I
as they have the
agree.
system. And yeah, it's fine. But wait, does game show? Do you need like Nintendo Switch Online to like do the game show or no?
For game share, I'd have to double check it. I imagine they probably would, but I could double check because it seems
Yeah,
like the kind
I
of
think it would
feature
suck
where you
otherwise.
need
Yeah,
Switch Online to pull that off.
yeah. Maybe they want to like dissuade any sort of like piracy or something. I don't know. Ugh. Hey, but yeah. But yeah, it's nice that you're gonna like do more select games for the Switch too. Like, I was surprised they didn't like announce anything for Smash Brothers, like any sort of I don't know, new features or something like that. But I guess Sakurai is too busy working on Kirby to
Yeah.
reduce introduce more features. Um, but yeah, you want to move on? Let's see what else to talk about.
Yeah.
Uh,
Although I wasn't too surprised about that just because Super Smash Bros. Games don't tend to be released alongside with new Nintendo consoles. The closest I could think of is I know there have been announcements like when Smash for the Wii U was announced. The closest I could think of was when not Brawl, excuse me, Super Smash Bros. Melee came out like I think a month after the GameCube. I think Brawl was supposed to be a launch title, but it got delayed for a couple of years. So I wasn't too surprised about that, if I'm going to be honest. I think that's something they'll
yeah,
save for later
yeah.
in
I
the
was
Switch
thinking
2's
more
life.
along the lines of like a Switch 2 upgrade or something. It's like with like 4K support and better FPS and all that, instead of just like an actually Smash game. Like or something that has like you can do game share and play, and then people playing in their own system can play Smash with you. But I'm pretty sure you can do that with the first Switch anyway for now.
Yeah. I think what they're just going to do is they'll just let Ultimate be playable on the Switch 2, but
Mhm.
features like HDR, 4K, they're probably going to save that for the next Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, but man, Sakurai is like he worked so hard on the Smash Brothers Ultimate that, oh man, I can see why he just want to move on to just making something happy like Kirby.
Yeah, well, he
Yes.
created Kirby, so
Yeah, 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 yeah. Of course, yeah. But Smash
yeah,
Brothers look like he like he looks so tired in like those fighter presentation videos for Smash. Like,
yeah. I
yeah, it makes sense. Like just to focus on different project that doesn't like kill him.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, and I feel bad because like I've heard like
yeah.
stories about like Sakurai having to use like an IV drip. I heard when he was
Oh
making
yeah.
Melee, he would like get very little sleep and literally just be working on the game all day long. So now when I see his name, I get the sense where it's like, I'm excited that it's Sakurai, but I hope he's not like overworking to do
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
especially because
yeah.
I
You don't
heard he
want to
has
be
like a
he,
medical condition in his hand now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He shouldn't be like a like what happened was like the guy created Dragon Ball where he just like overworked himself. Like some of these these mangakas where they overwork themselves to to where they just basically cripple their body. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
like the whole Japanese workplace culture that we shouldn't get into right now. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I'm familiar with that too, but I just hope that, Sakurai's like taking care of himself. I'm wondering if
yeah,
it's the kind of thing where it's like when the 3DS was coming out, Sakurai was directing Kirby, I mean, not Kirby, Kid Icarus Uprising before he got to
yeah.
Super Smash Brothers. So I'm wondering if it's a similar situation where he's working on Kirby or Riders for now, but then even if he doesn't direct the next Super Smash Brothers, I imagine he's still going to have some kind of involvement
Hmm.
in the next Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, 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 that makes sense. But hopefully you find someone who has like who shares his like same ideas and thoughts in a way. But I guess that's or he finds like someone who's like an apprentice or something. But
Yeah,
yeah.
or yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the let's say so what do you think about this new game that they announced for the launch day called Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour?
Not gonna
What do you
buy it.
think
I was
about it?
surprised when they said, oh, it's a digital purchase. It's like that should be a large
$10.
title.
Yeah.
It's like, well, in
It's
my
like
case, and like I know I'm not exactly the average Nintendo consumer because I'm the kind of person that like likes to look into like the specs and stuff. It's like, don't really need it. And honestly, I'm not even sure. I kind of feel like it's raison d'etre. Its reason for being is just to really like drive home the point that this is a new console. This is not just an upgraded Switch. I mean,
I'm like like PS5 came out with what? Astrobot Playroom?
yeah,
And that
Astro's
right? That
Playroom.
that
I
was
have it on my
free.
PS5 also.
Yeah. So it's like I know that the Switch had One Two Switch was like which was also like, sort of a tech demo-ish type of game. And that was like full price. And this one is the welcome tour is only $10. I'm like, why?
It,
Like even when I think IGN they asked the Nintendo of America Vice President Bill Trinan about it. He defended it, saying like, oh yeah, it provides value or something, or like somewhere along those lines. Which
I
I don't
think
know. It seems like the type of thing that you just only play for like maybe an hour or two, just to like try out the new features of your Joy-Cons, and then just drop it, never play it again. Then that's $10 gone right there.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that value that Trinan was getting into, it's going to come when people buy the newer Switch 2 games. I mean, okay, I mean, cuz I think the thing about the Switch 2 is that its improvements, they're kind of hard to illustrate for
Mm-hmm.
like I mean, and this is not to like, criticize the mass market consumer. I get that, a lot of it's hard, but like yeah, it's just that, when you hear terms like, 4K, HDR, 120 frames per second, I think that's very difficult to like, explain to like I said, my sister was having a really hard time like concentrating on those things when they were
Mm-hmm.
getting into it, and maybe that's why that game exists. But I think, you know, a lot of people will understand the benefits when they do check out games like Mario Kart World. Although, granted, and I'm a person who doesn't have a 4K TV with HDR. It's just you gotta have one of those TVs with those new features, though. Although, granted, the Switch 2's screen is capable of displaying HDR, 120 frames per second, all that alphabet soup. So, yeah, I think most people are just gonna buy like Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and games like that. And the Switch Welcome Tour. I already could hear my mom saying it's like $10. Why? So just no way.
Yeah, like a lot. I also saw like a lot were just happy about like yeah that being a paid game and also Mario Kart World being like $80 and also Nintendo Switch 2 itself being like 450 or 500. Like I've seen like live chat or like the during the Treehouse Direct
Yeah,
where
drop
people
the
are just
price.
spamming
Yeah.
drop the price, and of course I don't think that's gonna help. Like Nintendo, they know what makes them money. They know even if price Mario Kart World at $100, people are still gonna buy it
Yeah.
because they'll yeah. So man, I hope that this isn't like the new norm for like the game industry, because if like Mario Kart World, I think is gonna be like one of the top selling games of all time. But I hope it doesn't have like a domino effect where like say like that Take-Two CEO, he floated the idea of Grand Theft Auto 6 being $100 on launch day, like just the standard edition, no deluxe edition, just standard edition, $100.
Yeah,
Like,
I hope that's not the
why? Is the
case.
game is gonna be profitable nonetheless,
Yeah.
but it feels like $100 is too much of an asking price too.
Mhm.
Like, and you can make up that difference with like the microtransaction stuff, but I think Mario Kart is a different topic altogether.
Yeah,
But
it's part of
yeah,
that
it's
like ongoing debate where it's like, do you want the games to get more expensive or do you want to pay microtransactions? Which neither of which are like. So
yeah, and
it's one of those like things that even I'm not really sure how to answer, to be honest, because those are both
yeah,
things that on paper I wouldn't want. But then again, development costs keep going up. I mean, it was kind of
mhm,
like crazy back in the like GameCube and Dreamcast days to imagine like someday a game might cost $100 million to develop. And now with
mhm,
like AAA games, that's kind of like what you would expect. It's like how much it would cost to make like a big budget Marvel movie or something like that.
mhm. Yeah, like the Spider-Man 2 on PS5 cost way more than like say the like any of the MCU movies I heard, like
Sheesh.
according to
I'm
the
not
documentaries
surprised.
or something. Yeah, I think it was like $200 million. I think it took them.
Oh my
But yeah, it was like
goodness.
expensive because, but of course they eventually like made up like all that money back, like I think in the first months or two.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's like unsustainable type of like budget right there. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was like you said like an hour ago that these Nintendo games, of course, they try to find like cost effectiveness basically, while still like providing a good experience for players. But yeah, it's $80 for Mario Kart World. I'm not entirely convinced that I might buy just the game. I might, yeah, like you said, that I might just buy just the bundle.
Yeah.
But hopefully, but hopefully, hopefully this doesn't mean yeah the game industry will be doing like yeah these $80 games from now on. $70 is a bit much for me. That's why I always wait for a sale. But of course, these Nintendo games, they rarely go on sale anyway.
Yeah, especially first
Yeah.
party games. Yeah. I mean if that became the norm, I'd probably just wait for a lot of these games to go on sale.
Yeah. Oh, I just wait for, or just focus on like a tiny select few, and then I just play like my Fortnite or whatever, or
Yeah.
whatever free to play game. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So let's move on from this like thunder cloud. Okay. So I did like mention the game cartridges a bit. You wanna talk about that?
I
The
mean,
game cards?
well, first of all, I could pull up. So I recall the main differences with the game cards is now they're red. I'm a little surprised they're not doing what they did in the 3DS days where they had that little extra piece so that you can't put it in an original Switch. But from what I remember, they basically said it's now red and also the transfer speeds are faster. So AKA probably means that the loading times are going to be quicker.
Yeah, something like that. And I also I think they also because like we I did touch upon about the games coming the Nintendo Switch 2 edition games that's like basically that comes with like an upgrade pack. I'm pretty sure like yeah, you can put in your old game cartridges in the new Nintendo Switch 2. So but only like I think a select few games will be backwards compatible with the Switch 2, which okay, sure. Yeah.
I think
Because
the
yeah, the whole yeah, like the whole gaming market today is like full of backwards compatibility, I noticed. Like it
um
was the Xbox Series games and the PS5 games, like even Nintendo games is like yeah, some people they just want to stick to playing like the old games or like multiplayer games, live service games and all that. So yeah.
I think the original Switch games. I think that was actually one of the first announcements that they'll play
Mhm.
on the Switch too. It's just that regular micro SD cards can't be used for the most part.
Bobby.
Uh
Oh, yeah.
oh, did it cut off
Sorry.
again?
Yeah, you had a connection issue for a bit.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I was just saying that I think I heard that original Switch games should be able to play in the Switch 2. I'm sure there's going to be exceptions to that rule, but yeah, like I said, sorry. Like I said, I've been experiencing internet issues, but it helps to know if it does lag or cut off. So I hope it's not too much of an issue on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they showed a list of like games of which can be backwards compatible with the Switch 2. And it's basically like whatever big first party lineup you can think of, it's it can be played on Switch 2, yeah.
Uh
But
huh.
whether or not if it's gonna like to upgrade like Animal Crossing or
Oh,
let's
I see.
say
Yeah.
Splatoon
Then
3, yeah,
that's
it's
kind of dicey. Yeah.
yeah. Like I do want some hardware upgrades for some of these Switch 1 games, but I think it's like you know the 3DS and the new 3DS like Hyrule Warriors if you play on the right old 3DS it's just like not a lot of enemies on the screen and the draw distance is like not good, but on a new 3DS a lot more enemies and draw distance you can see like further away basically. So
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah, I
with
see
like
what you
Hyrule
mean.
Warriors you just don't like upgrade like $10 upgrade. You just like pop in the game and then there you go. You can try out the new 3DS. But yeah. Um hmm. So yeah, oh sorry Bobby, what are you gonna say?
No, no, I was just saying that, yeah, I think it's just that I might have misheard, and it's just that not every original Switch game is going to have, like, an upgrade pack. That's all.
Yeah. I think yeah, I think it's fine because like maybe some of these developers to maybe to either focus on new projects or they just want to move on from the game. But it's still like nice to have some backwards compatibility, especially if people just want to play on like a better screen, I guess.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm just like scrolling through the direct and all that. Let's see. So what do you think about Metroid Prime 4? Like you said you played one of the Metroid Prime games, right?
Yeah, I did play, I think, yeah, it was the first one I did play on the Wii U when they brought the trilogy to the eShop. Main complaint is just that I didn't like how, since it was the trilogy version, that means you had to wave the Wii remote around. So
Hmm.
I ended up purchasing that game again when it came to the original Switch. And in the case of
Hmm.
Metro Prime 4 Beyond, even though yeah, it's coming for the original Switch, I'm gonna wait for when I get a Switch 2 to get that game. I don't and as I said before, I don't have a TV that, could support it, although I keep forgetting that the screen itself does support HDR and the higher frame rate. So it's that kind of thing where it's like, well, if I buy the original Switch version, then I'm gonna have to eventually buy the upgrade pack. So I'm just gonna wait to purchase that
Hmm.
on the Switch 2.
Yeah, seems like according to the direct, the Switch 2 edition is just gonna be like just better quality. Like either you can play in quality mode or 4K at 60 FPS, or you can play in performance mode in like 1080p and was it 24? Yeah, 120 FPS.
Yeah, that's the
Of
mode
course,
I'd probably
handheld mode is gonna
play.
be like yeah, it's lower quality, but I think it's fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like Yeah, I like first person shooters a lot, but with Metroid is not my type of game in a way.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to describe it, but I tried to play it back then on the GameCube and I just couldn't get into it. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to any Samus fans out there.
Yeah, that's
Um,
cool. I'm kind of
yeah, it's
surprised
fine.
I got into it as much as I did, just because at least for me there was a lot more puzzle solving than I expected. I mean, it's Nintendo, the same company that makes Zelda, so I shouldn't be surprised. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm surprised I got through as much of the game that as I did when I played it on the Wii. I thought I was just gonna get lost the entire time.
yeah. Then oh yeah, Pokemon ZA. Hmm. I don't know what to think of this game. It's like it's nice as it's in Unova. It's in Unova, the city. Or
Yeah,
Lumino City, right? Yeah, they call it Lumino City. Um, but man, it looks like to me like a low budget game. I don't know how to describe it, but um,
yeah, it's not a
hmm.
mainline
It's
Pokemon
like the
game.
setting like there's no setting diversity they've shown off so far. It's either like you're walking through the city and it all looks like the same, like same assets, same like building, same type of buildings, or you just go on the rooftops and all that. But yeah, I mean the city is supposed to be based on what, France or something, or influenced by France.
I think Unova or like I'm not too clear on which. Probably Lumino City. I remember hearing one of the inspirations was like New York City.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't get that feeling. I thought New York City was like I remember playing like another Pokemon game that had that like a sort of New York City area.
yeah, I see
I
what you
forgot what
mean.
it's called, but yeah. But
But
yeah, it's
yeah,
ZA. I'm not too enthusiastic about it, but I'm pretty sure they're treating it as like a sort of side game. Of course, like they had to get out a major Pokemon game like every year or so. So sure, why not?
yeah.
I
I
don't know what the
mean,
difference is with the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Maybe it's like a better hardware upgrade or something, like a 120 FPS and all that.
yeah. To be honest, I
But
didn't even take
yeah,
notes. I just kind of looked at it and said, "Oh, spin-off game."
yeah. Would it be ironic if they just like if Pal World ended up on a Switch too?
Yeah, and I've
Oh my!
heard. Well, probably
And
not
then
because of all the legal troubles like Nintendo's
yeah,
putting the
yeah,
developer
like
in.
Nintendo is suing and like Nintendo is suddenly like bringing up new documents or like new patents and then they're suing like the Pal World company for that. Oh man. It's
Yeah.
like
Uh,
it's funny too because like Pal World was like people actually wanted like that type of gameplay, that sort of like Ark survival evolved type of gameplay from Pokemon,
uh-huh.
but also it's like there's a sort of like dark, underhanded violence that was like Pokemon with guns and all that. I don't know. I
Yeah.
still like Pokemon, but yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a higher chance of. Do you know this game on Steam, Night of the Consumers?
Night of the Consumers. Let me look it up.
I feel like
So
that game probably has a higher chance of coming to Switch 2 than Power World.
yeah, speaking of which, now that you mention like Steam games and all that, it just makes me think about um because the Switch like eShop, it has like I feel like it has issues. Like much like PlayStation store, it has like issues with like anyone could just like submit in a game. There was like an issue on in the eShop, like I think last year or 2 years ago, where people uploaded like the sort of copycat Last of Us game, and oh my, oh man, it was like uh let's see, Switch knockoff. Um, it was called The Last Hope, and I'm gonna send you a link of what it looks like.
Okay.
See, yeah, but yeah, it's like the eShop was Nintendo. They have like people just making like sort of scam games, like taking advantage of the was it search engine optimization, the SEO,
Uh-huh.
to trick like kids and all that, thinking like, oh yeah, here's The Last of Us on Switch. Oh, here's Ready or Not on Switch. Oh, here's Ghost Recon on Switch. Well, it's not called Ghost Recon. It's probably called Ghost Protocol. It's not called Radio Not. It's probably called Beginning or Not and all that. But yeah, it's like shovel's crap on the eShop right now.
Yeah, I've
But yeah,
heard.
you can like look through the game. Yeah, it's like Nintendo's hope for the Switch 2, they would have like much more like what's it called moderation was the type of like games they allow onto the store. But I'm also not expecting like any sort of moderation. I'm still because Nintendo, they still make money from whatever gets accepted onto the eShop. Like even if it's like a scam looking game with, like some Last of Us knockoff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um but I'm pretty sure like they said like backwards compatibility with the cards. I'm pretty sure there's also gonna be backwards compatibility. I'm not sure with like all Nintendo Switch digital games, maybe some of them, but I kind of hope that uh I kind of hope that like all Nintendo Switch digital games are backwards compatible, and then only a select few will be getting the Switch 2 upgrade. But yeah, but I guess Nintendo did want to make like some extra money from people buying like the same game again. I guess for the new system. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, as for the eShop like situation, I think I heard somewhere that the reason it's that way is because instead of doing like what they did in the Hiroshi Yamauchi games, where like Yamauchi was like super super strict, now Nintendo is just like just leave it to the ESRB, the ratings
Yeah.
board. We'll let them
The
decide.
thing is though, when these games have to get accepted to be sold onto like let's say the eShop or PlayStation Store, there's like I know for sure there's like a team of people at the Nintendo of America who has to like play through these games and see if
Yeah,
it's like one, not a scam game, two, not a very naughty adult game, and three, playable enough and beatable enough to like for players to like actually play through. So even if it's like a lazy game made in like 3 days, and like yeah, they just allow like any sort of game. But yeah, I feel like they need to up their moderation a lot more.
yeah, and
I
yeah,
feel like
the
I'm getting off topic a lot here too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I just wanted to quickly like also mention, and also just because like I have a sister who went to law school, so I've kind of been kind of more informed about like the legal process and things because it could also be a legal issue too, and that I could imagine Sony. I think the reason I don't know if Sony went after that Last of Us knockoff. I think if
Well, I
they
know for sure that game got removed from the eShop though. It really got removed once a lot of articles were reporting on it.
oh,
So
okay,
yeah,
yeah. So if Sony didn't threaten to like sue, maybe it was just a thing where Nintendo was like, oh, this could be misrepresentation, so we need to take it off.
yeah. But it still doesn't like it didn't change anything though. It was like the eShop, I think. It didn't change anything with like the major like stores. Like I said, PlayStation Store, I saw like a picture of like game knockoffs on the PlayStation Store. So clearly it's not gonna like change anyone's like mind or like on better content moderation. So yeah, it sucks, man. But yeah, what are you gonna do about it? I think people just need to be more real about what game they're gonna buy. Even if it's like a little kid who thinks that they're gonna play The Last of Us on the Switch or playing like a PC only game on like a PS5. No, they're getting a game knockoff.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
All right.
it's the kind of thing where I have to kind of remember that and again, this is not to like, Chris says cuz I understand that,
Mhm.
it gets confusing sometimes, but I just still remember hearing a story from a YouTuber saying when they worked at a GameStop, somebody came in and asked, "Where's Super Mario Sunshine for the Xbox?" And I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah,
So,
because yeah, it's
unfortunately,
definitely
yeah,
like
I could see people
yeah, there's
getting
definitely people
confused
who's
and
not like
thinking,
us who knows a lot about video games. There's always gonna be like some guy. It's like those type of people who thinks that Batman is set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know,
yeah,
like people who just like not too like up to date on like, or people who think like, oh, Metal Gear Solid was made by an American studio, like made by a Call of Duty studio. But
yeah.
no.
I don't
Yeah,
know, but then again, like I'm a person who's not like I'm somebody who's trying to get into not to go off topic, but like then again, I'm
yeah,
not a
yeah, yeah.
person who's like very well versed in law. Like I have like my sisters and like went to law school. I'm not well versed on that world,
Mhm.
so it's the kind of thing where I have to put the shoe on the other foot.
Yeah. Now moving on to that, I was like third-party games. They like I mentioned before, was the third-party lineup of games. They announced like Elden Ring, Hades 2, and I think more importantly, they went into like greater detail about Street Fighter 6 coming to the Switch too. You play
Yeah.
fighting games, Bobby?
Um, Elden Ring. When my sister saw that, she was like, cool, but we have it on the Xbox One. Street
Yeah.
Fighter 6. I'm thinking about. I don't usually play fighting games outside of Super Smash Brothers, but I have dabbled in games like Tekken, and I did play a little bit of Super Street Fighter 4 when it was released for the 3DS. So that's a game I might consider.
Yeah, I already have Street Fighter 6 on Steam. Yeah, it's pretty good, and it's also fits best for like a handheld type of experience.
Yeah.
And it's nice that, yeah, I feel like the Joy-Con, there's like a Joy-Con only game mode where you just like shake your controller up and down or like twist it around just to like make your characters do specific moves. That feels like a gimmick. It feels like a really lazy gimmick in a way, just to like take advantage of like the Joy-Con controllers, maybe to like teach the developers on how to like design around the Joy-Con controls, I guess, for
Uh
maybe future games, future Capcom games, yeah.
huh.
But it is nice that for Street Fighter 6, they announced like amiibo compatibility with it,
Oh
which
yeah.
like is I guess it's nice for collectors, but I think the amiibo compatibility, I think it might work like Super Smash Brothers, where you can train your fighters to like how to come up with like your specific moves, and then you can just do put your amiibos into like ghost fights, I guess.
Uh
I
huh.
think that's how it can work. But yeah, they announced like three amiibos, like three like figurine amiibos, and then the rest of the amiibos will be just cards for like each for like the remaining fighters, or just for like all the fighters. I think just for the baseball run. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the amiibos for Street Fighter 6, they're gonna be $30 each, which hmm, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
$30. I mean, yeah, they're larger than the Smash Brothers amiibos, and they have more detail, which sure, why not? But yeah, it's nice that this game is gonna have crossplay. I don't know about cross save, but yeah, it's gonna have crossplay, which is nice.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what other game they announced? Damon X Machina 2. Mech type of game, I think. Well, I
Yeah.
had the first game on the Switch. Oh, yeah, on the Switch. It was fine. I
Yeah, I
played it.
played a demo of it and I thought it was pretty good, but I don't know if I'm like persuaded to get the game. I'm probably not gonna get that. It was fun for a demo,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to save up money for how much the Switch
No.
to other Switch 2 games might cost.
Yeah. No, let's see. They announced let's say Split Fiction, Madden. Yeah. They also announced Hogwarts Legacy coming to the Switch too. And this game, I think it sold like 10 million copies. Was in like the first 3 months, I think. I forgot. But yeah, it took that development, that studio like a while, Hogwarts Legacy onto the first Switch. And of course, the first Switch, it doesn't look as good as like, the current generation of consoles.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think this game is going to have a Switch 2 upgrade either, which I think it should. But yeah, you have you heard that this game was supposed to get like some sort of DLC expansion, but then it got canceled
Uh
for the
I have
Hogwarts
not
Legacy.
kept up with anything
Yeah.
Harry Potter related in like the last maybe 15 years.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Yeah, even though the game sold a lot, they thought about like making an expansion, and then they were making it, and then Warner Brothers were like, nope, you got to cancel it. Just make a new
Mhm.
game instead. Which yeah, makes sense because DLC expansions usually don't sell as much as the base game.
Mhm.
Which sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, that makes sense. But I think the biggest announcement for that game was the ending clip. You know what it was, Bobby?
No,
Tony Hawk?
admittedly, that part didn't take notes.
Oh, a SpongeBob level.
SpongeBob level.
Yeah, which sure, why not? SpongeBob and Tony Hawk. I guess it makes sense. Um, oh yeah, they also announced Hitman: The World of Assassination. So basically, Hitman 1, 2, and 3 coming to the Nintendo Switch too.
Yeah, I
That's
remember
like,
that.
yeah. And there's also gonna have like pre-order bonuses where Agent 47 will have like a sort of what the well, Agent 47 will have like a sort of Mario and Luigi themed costumes, I guess. Or like just simple reskins of like his suit to make it look make him look like Mario and Luigi. Hmm. Yeah. Luigi style Hitman. Hmm. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say they also announced 007 coming to Switch 2. Uh, this game called Bravely Default. Okay.
Yeah, I
Don't know
remember
much
that
about,
from the 3DS days.
yeah, don't know much about that. They also announced Yakuza 0, a new Yakuza, like a sort of upgrade or something.
Yeah, director's cut.
Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. Mhm. Which makes sense, due for Yakuza 0 because Yakuza 0 was the game that got like a lot of people into the series. And
Uh-huh.
now it's like so well known now that even I heard that even Jack Black plays the game. Like he
Wouldn't be
was on the
surprised.
red carpet for Minecraft movie and he said like, "Oh yeah, I was playing Yakuza."
Uh-huh.
So yeah. So yeah, it makes sense to do like a Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which is basically the same game but with new features like extended cutscenes and some cutscenes are now like in motion. And there's also gonna be like a full player co-op mode, like a co-op game mode.
Uh-huh.
Which yeah, sure, why not?
It's
That's
something
something
that
I'm
I'm
gonna like
kind of
really buy.
interested in, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Yakuza's series is pretty good. Yeah, they offer like a lot of like gameplay diversity. Like you can play a beat 'em up, or you can play like go-kart racing, or you can just go to an arcade and just play like any of the classic Sega games.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. All right. So for the next announcement, this one I'm like curious about. Like, I have not played Tears of the Kingdom, so I don't know about the story. And but I have played Hyrule Warriors. What's it called? Age of no, the game based on Breath of the Wild, the one that's like people were excited about, and then when they played the game and got halfway through, they started to hate it.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
played that game. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? The
Yes, I do. Yeah, of
Hyrule
course, Hyrule
Yeah, yeah,
Warriors. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised they announced like a new game because like you play Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, so most of us don't know much about it. But yeah, this new Hyrule Warrior game is gonna be based around like sort of a prequel. People are saying that they hope it's not gonna be like alternate universe, like unlike what the previous game did, where like the previous game was supposed to be a prequel, then halfway through they did like alternate universe shenanigans, where like they got characters in from the Breath of the Wild just to like help fight in the past, and then they helped defeat Ganon that way. Spoilers for anyone who haven't played that game yet. Sorry, but yeah, but hopefully with this game, yeah, there's no like alternate universe shenanigans. But I'm pretty sure they might do it just to like bring the roster like of playable characters like up a bit.
Yeah.
Because looking at the trailer right now, it looks like just mainly characters from like Tears of the Kingdom, like from the past. Yeah, there's no like they didn't show Link at all, which is it kind of makes me curious on seeing whether they bring Link back or they bring any rest of character back. Well, of course that's gonna they need to like do like another like what's it called like alternate universe shenanigans. But yeah, it's coming this winter, which is nice. So yeah, it's like the launch day lineup is not going to be. I don't think it's going to be really good, but the launch year, it's going to be fine. I think Nintendo Switch 2 can manage a
Yeah, I
bit.
agree.
Yeah. All right. So what else they announced? Oh yeah, the expansion pack that's gonna have GameCube games now. So Bobby, you grew up with GameCube games, am I right?
First console, yep.
Yeah. Oh, your first console. Okay, yeah. For me, it was the Nintendo 64, but I
Uh-huh.
did play a bunch of GameCube, like mainly Resident Evil 4 and Smash Brothers and Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur 2. Yeah. And I have not played like the Wind Waker. I've played a little bit of it, but I just couldn't get into it. Um, man, I played like a lot of Zelda games I couldn't get into. But for Soul Calibur, yeah, you say you're not a fighting game type of person, but have you ever played Soul Calibur or the Wind
No,
Waker
but
or
I
anything?
was pretty interested when they talked about how Soul Calibur 2 is going to come to Switch Online for the Switch 2, coming up with a new colloquial term for that. But mostly just because Link is in the game, and there's this YouTuber I used to watch that said in Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube, Link is the best character, and that actually got me
Yeah.
into using Link a lot more in the Super Smash Brothers games. So I'd probably play it for that reason. It's just that when I play fighting
Yeah, and
games, I'm not the kind of person that has like all the moves memorized. I literally just like, mash the buttons and hope I win. And like I
yeah,
do 50% of the time.
I still recall like back then when like Soul Calibur 2 was like a multi-platform game. So on Xbox, it was a Spawn, Spawn the comic book character who also was in Mortal Kombat and Call of Duty. And
Yeah.
on PS2, it was Heihachi Mishima from Tekken.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, for GameCube it was Link. And of course, everyone wants to play as Link because it's Link. It's
Mhm.
like he's like one of the most like famous Nintendo characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, even I want to play as Link. But I think Soul Calibur 2, they still could get away with like having the two other guest characters like on like they're sort of re-releasing the GameCube game. But I feel like yeah, they could put Heihachi and Spawn in that game, but I guess Link, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I would
So
like
yeah,
that. Like I really like playing Heihachi when I play the Tekken games.
yeah. And I grew up watching the Spawn TV show and the movie, so yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, and oh yeah, they also announced F-Zero GX, which seems to get like so many Nintendo fans excited. I don't understand it, but a lot of people seem to be excited about this one
Well,
because
yeah, and I just know I'm really bad at the original F-Zero on Super Nintendo, so,
yeah,
and I've heard F-Zero GX is even harder. So, for those out there, if you're excited, awesome. It's just you wouldn't want to see me play F-Zero GX unless you
yeah.
want to, like, throw your computer out the window.
Yeah. And for me personally, like when I was a kid, I was more interested in like Mario Kart because it just looks charming. F-Zero just looks like any other like most other sci-fi type of racers, I guess, if that makes sense. Like there's no sort of charm to it. I'm sorry to like any F-Zero fans out there. I know all of you are gonna like get mad at me about it, about saying it. But I grew up with Mario Kart, so I'm a Mario Kart. Yeah. And let's see. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they also announced like more games coming to the GameCube Classics edition, like Luigi's Mansion, which yeah, I like Luigi a lot.
Yeah.
Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Pokemon XD, Pokemon Coliseum. Pokemon Coliseum, I was like so obsessed with that game. Like before release, I kept begging my dad to buy it. I kept like wanting it so bad. And then when I finally got it, I played like at least like 1 hour of it, and
Uh-huh.
I thought to myself, "Wow, this game kind of sucks."
Oh,
I
no.
I thought it would be a traditional Pokemon game,
Uh-huh.
like what I play on a game on like the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance. But no, it was just not that. It was just like it just does not have any charm to it.
Mhm.
But yeah, so yeah, I was tricked. I was tricked by
Oh.
marketing, Bobby. And that's fine. Well, yeah, I think I keep saying this before about the Nintendo Switch Online and like these Nintendo Classic games. like how much does it cost a year just for like the expansion pass upgrade for
I
the
have to
Nintendo
double
Switch
check
Online?
that.
Like what, $30 a year or something, or $40 a year?
I think it's
Or
even
is it $50?
more.
Oh, $50 a year. Yeah. But yeah, I think like I said before, if you're more interested in like the Game Pass type of games, sure, why not? I
Uh-huh.
guess. But otherwise, I don't know. It seems like a nice little gimmick to play. Uh, yeah, how much does it cost?
Yeah, it's $50 a year, the expansion pack for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
individual
yeah, yeah. Oh
plan.
my gosh. Yeah.
And then it's 80 for the family plan
Hmm. I
for
feel
those
like
who
some
can
people
spend
could do
more.
emulation. Well, I don't want to mention this thing called emulation, but I guess I just did. But anyways, um, but it's nice that Nintendo they're releasing a new controller, the Nintendo GameCube controller, just for like people who's into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Have you ever thought about like just buying one of those classic controllers or no?
No way. I'm good with when I do. Do I have my GameCube controllers here? Well, anyway, I still have. Well, not my original GameCube controllers because they're
Hmm.
broken because they're like 20 years old. But I'm good with just using the Switch 2's Joy Cons personally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll deal with that after the stream. But yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, speaking of playing classic games, I on my Steam Deck have let's see. Oh, damn. I managed to like put in like Tekken 5 and a Ratchet and Clank games
Uh huh.
on like on my Steam Deck. How I did it? Some people gotta YouTube it. But yeah. Anyways, sorry for like promoting pirates in the stream, Bobby. Um, so anyways, Deltarune. This game, I saw like the reactions online. People are so excited about Deltarune. I have not played Undertale at all. It doesn't look like my type of game. Have you played Undertale, Bobby?
It's weird because like I enjoyed the Mother and Earthbound games, so I heard some
Hmm.
people say that it seems like I should get into Undertale, but I watched like maybe 2 minutes of gameplay and I was like, I don't understand what's going on. So no, although I think my sister purchased one of the Deltarune games for the original Switch.
Hmm. Yeah, I think looking at this game, it looks more like a choice-based and a sort of bullet hell type of game where you can either like fight the characters and all that, yeah. But it does have like, charming characters, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's not my type of game, but I can see like why there's such a dedicated fan base for it. And I
Yeah.
especially saw like audience react like do you watch those Nintendo's New York City store reactions on YouTube, Bobby?
Sometimes I do. I was kind of surprised. I heard my sister told me for the Switch 2, there's still a guy there who's like shouting "Smash!"
Oh my God. Oh yeah, I also heard that like on IGN that this one guy now is like waiting in line at that Nintendo store.
Not
He's gonna wait
surprised.
like 2 months. He wants to be first in line just to get the Nintendo Switch 2 console.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's kind of
mean,
like what's it? It's kind of like that one guy was called Etika that
it was Captain Nintendo dude that, waited outside Nintendo New York,
oh yeah, yeah.
what it's called now. I'd probably do that if cuz I think they opened up a new store in San Francisco. I mean, I'd probably do that if I lived in San Francisco.
The only problem I have is that sort of thing is just the danger because I don't want to robbed in the middle of the night. Like, oh, I'm sleeping in my tent, and after that, some guy just like take a wallet or something, or like my
Yeah.
phone and all that. No, yeah, it feels too dangerous. And
Yeah.
also like also just the logistics behind it, like, oh, you had to like plan out with someone else, like switch places, because like, hey, what if someone has to go to work if these people waiting in line actually goes to work? Or what if I have to like, go to the bathroom or eat or,
Yeah.
socialize? Yeah. Yeah, it's like, geez. But yeah, I guess some people just do anything for like, I guess the feeling of being first in line for stuff. Even I was like accidentally first in line for some stuff, but yeah. Yeesh.
accidentally.
But at least I didn't have to wait 2 freaking months for it.
Yeah, I mean that's why I usually just stick to like the local GameStop because the lines are much shorter.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Deltarune. Man. I mean, it looks pretty good. Yeah, like I saw the reaction to it. Like people were like so excited to see that dog, that that the dog costume, and then they got excited again when they saw Sans. Like people were so excited for Sans. It's like crazy. Like you saw that one video of people reacting to Sans being in Smash Brothers.
I think I did. My sister probably showed that to me.
Yeah, that was like an amazing type of reaction to it. Like I saw the comments, people were saying like, "Oh, this is like if people landed. This is similar to when NASA landed a man on the moon."
My goodness.
Like yeah, it's like people got so excited to see Sans. I mean, it makes sense because I think like what Sakurai said that Toby Fox was playing Smash with him or playing Undertale with him at his home.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, yeah. So man, like yeah, it makes sense. And see what else they announced. Raidu, Shadow Labyrinth, Patapon, bunch of there's a bunch of like random third party games. Some of it is like yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
I think one of it I'm like more curious to see. It was that man, what was that called? That they announced it like the previous direct. Um, let's see, it was like that simulation type of game. Tomodachi Life.
Tomodachi
Yeah,
Life. Yeah, the sequel or the third
yeah.
game if you want to get technical.
Yeah. I'm sort of excited about it. I played a fair amount of it on my 3DS,
Yeah.
so I think I lost the cartridge now. But yeah, I just like the gimmick of it. But and honestly, I can't wait for it to come out. Like if I get Switch 2, that's gonna be like one of the first games I'm gonna buy for it.
Mhm.
But yeah, and hmm, more apps. Oh yeah, I think I'm just looking at the direct from like 11 days ago. I think most of these games are going to come out onto the Switch 2. Anyway, yeah, yeah, Deltarune, Borderlands 4. Have you played Borderlands, Bobby?
I've thought about it. I'm just not really sure if it's up my street. It's one of those games. If it popped up on PlayStation Plus, I'd probably play it. Well, actually, in that case, I would be more incentivized to try, just because I'm not really sure if I'm ready to pay a full price to get it. But
Yeah,
thinking about it,
yeah. I played like one, two, three, the pre-sequel, and some of the other Borderlands games. It's pretty fine. I'm surprised that it's coming out on a Switch too, because this is the game that's like looks like it's better to play on like PS5 or Xbox Series X and all that.
uh huh.
But yeah. So let's see, Civilization. Oh, 7. Oh, they're on 7. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, and they
Civ
show
7.
that like yeah, you can use the Joy-Con as a mouse. I don't know, the mouse part just still looks weird to me because
Yeah,
like imagine you just like hold your Joy-Con just like
and like
this.
using it, and it's kind of in a weird
Yeah, it just
spot, and you're
just feels
clicking it.
really
Yeah,
off. Yeah. You put to like a regular mouse like this. Oh
yeah, I
man.
see what you
Yeah, I
mean.
don't know why. Like Nintendo, I guess I guess it's like to make some games more compatible. But yeah. But yeah, Take-Two announced like, sports games coming to the Switch too, which sure, why not?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, what else? What else got? What else up my street? Enter the Gungeon 2. I think this is more like a what's it called? Roguelike game or bullet or like vampire survivor type of game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Astro Neo. Oh yeah, Cyberpunk. I think I told you this. Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. The whole game is gonna be on a cartridge. Unlike Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6, you gotta like they give you the game card key,
Mm-hmm.
like, and then you gotta like download the rest, which is like, uh, sorry. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 is gonna be yeah, $70. Jeez. And it's also like it's all in 30 FPS, which okay, I guess so. But
Yeah.
yeah, I hope that when the game launches, it doesn't look like launch day PS4 or Xbox One.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, when I first
Yeah,
heard it was announced, I was just like, I hope they fix the bugs
yeah, of
for
course it did.
patches.
Like I think a year or so later,
Okay.
then yeah, it's a tougher game. Yeah, yeah, maybe people should just wait until the game comes out and just see if it's broken or not.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, even if they fixed it on the other consoles, I think
mm,
it's just kind of good advice just to wait.
yeah. Even same thing was like Final Fantasy VII remake, which looks pretty good, and yeah, I'm playing that game on my Steam Deck too. So yeah, if it's like some of these games, if it's optimized for like say Xbox Series S or Steam Deck, then it can potentially be played on the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, see what else they got. Wow, they actually Ubisoft is actually putting in Star Wars Outlaws on the Switch too. Okay, I guess so. Even though that game has like some bugs and optimization issues.
Yeah, I
Okay,
just hope they fix them when they come to Switch 2.
yeah. And of course, the big free-to-play game Fortnite is coming to Switch 2 on launch day, which yeah, of course makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Though
have some commenters because I put up a video on how to fix a Switch with a blacked out screen. I have some commenters who say, oh, thank you, I could play Fortnite once again. So if that gets you excited, cool.
yeah, I started Fortnite my first game of Fortnite was on a Nintendo Switch. And then I've been playing like that for like one season. When I moved on to PC, I couldn't go back to the Switch. It was like Switch was so bad. I did not know why I put up with the Switch that time. But
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
now thankfully now they're like yeah, they have an upgrade. Though I am wondering like I think I mentioned this before like earlier in the video how the gaming industry seems like to be at an impasse because you got like all these live service games and like people were talking about like how the PS5 and Xbox Series X S are like kind of meh, even though we've been like what 5 years into the console's lifespan.
Uh huh.
And I think it's because like of all these live service game, or like all these games that take so long to like make, like all these major blockbuster type of games that won't come out for like 5 years or so, or like all these big like balloon budgets. So I think like maybe Nintendo Switch and Nintendo they're like the games are like one what having more potential, like Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So even then, I still think Nintendo or like just the gaming market itself. I don't know. I feel like they need to like scale down a bit, or they're gonna like do some sort of like constant recycling of like their past titles just to like get the games out quicker. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, it's like the lineup of games and all that. Like other people are just going to keep focused playing the live service games like the Call of Duty, Fortnite, Overwatch, or they're just going to play like, yeah, I don't know what lead was this, but it just feels just the whole gaming market just feels like kind of off for like this past generation. But yeah, but with the Switch 2, maybe there'll be like it'll revive things a bit, hopefully. But
Yeah.
as long as like these gaming companies, they just scale themselves to like keep things like, at a certain level in a certain time and release stuff at like a good time. Which leads me into this next game I want to talk about. From Software's Bloodborne 2, no, not Bloodborne 2, the Duskborn. Wait, is it
Yeah.
called
Although I could
Duskblood?
see why you kind of slipped up there.
I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of people thought it was going to be called going to be Bloodborne 2. Well, just by the aesthetic and everything.
Uh
But
huh.
yeah, it's called the Dusk Bloods, which is from Software's from software they call it a PvPvE. So player versus environment. So it's not gonna be like, Dark Souls or Demon Souls or like Bloodborne, where it's like you can just play only single player with like optional PvP or PvE.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one is gonna be like I think mandatory, I think.
Or at the very
That's what
least, it's not like the main experience is the multiplayer.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because yeah, and they also said like in the article that yeah, this not gonna be like a usual thing with like for the future games too. So this is just gonna be like maybe an experimental type of like game for the Switch 2. Like maybe get some of the hardcore players to get into the like the Nintendo Switch console or the Nintendo Switch Online
Yeah.
subscription. Like let them like yeah try out the game. But yeah, people actually wanted like uh Bloodborne 2 or Bloodborne on PC. I guess this is like the next best thing for them. Even though it's like yeah, like I said, PvPvE, which sure, why not? But yeah, as long as there's gonna be more info on the game, my hype for it is remains at a steady level, basically.
Uh-huh.
It's not high yet. I need to see more of the game. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. I don't think it's gonna be like an Elden Ring type of like major success. But uh, but from Software Games, it hasn't disappointed like anyone so far. So yeah. But yeah, just the general aesthetic of it all, like of course, like people are gonna call it like Bloodborne 2 or what's it called? Um oh like oh yeah, Bloodborne Copycat or yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, have you played any of the From Software games, Bobby? Like Elden Ring or Dark Souls or anything like that?
I think I played a little bit of Elden Ring. It was either Elden Ring or the first Dark Souls when it was brought over to Switch. I played a little
Hmm.
of it, and
That game
From
is hard,
Software
right?
games are just too hard to me. That's why,
Yeah.
yeah, my sister is the one who, plays those games, and she seems pretty excited for the Dusk Bloods.
Hmm. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next game they announced, which you seem to have more knowledge of, Bobby, because you said you played like the past Kirby games.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, Kirby Air Riders. You want to start off, Bobby?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when they showed the trailer, I remember my sister told me about Kirby Air Riders, and I was like, oh, they announced that? And I watched the trailer, and I was just like blown away with what they showed. They showed like some of the Kirby characters riding on the vehicles that they had in the original Kirby Air Ride. It was one of the couple times in the direct where I actually verbally went like, yes, and I was like so excited because all these years I've been saying that either they should make a Kirby Air Ride sequel or at least port the GameCube game. Like even if it doesn't come to Switch Online, if they just sort of like what they did with Pikmin. If they just put it out as a standalone game, I would be totally cool with it. And yeah, really excited. Very surprised to hear, like I said earlier, that Sakurai himself is directing it because it seems like the kind of game he would give to his apprentice, especially because there hasn't been a Kirby Air Ride game in like maybe even 20 years, like from now. So yeah, I'm you could tell I'm flustered. I'm beyond words. I'm excited. I really want to play it. I hope that the city trial comes back. I imagine some players might get like a little surprised about how the game works. I mean, obviously, I don't know how Kirby Air Riders works, but the original Kirby Air Ride, it's the kind of game like I guess pretend that my earbuds case is a vehicle in that game. It's not the kind of game where like you push a button and your vehicle goes. It's the kind of game where it's always moving but you steer it. You control how it steers. You can sort of control if you're charging up acceleration and things like that. I think some might find the controls a little surprising, especially if they're going to go into it thinking, "Oh, it's like Mario Kart but like Kirby." And it's like, well, not quite, but I'm sure it's still going to be fun. I'd love to do a stream of that. Surprised it's coming out. They say 2025, although I'm kind of wondering if they're going to delay it. But yeah, that was one of the games that I got really excited about because I've been wanting a new Kirby Air Ride for many years.
Yeah. And I think like what yeah, because Nintendo they need to release like some sort of games for the holidays or just in time for it.
Yeah,
Because like that's when they get like more sales.
Black Friday.
Um, yeah, yeah, Black Friday and all that. Yeah. Um, hmm. I forgot what it was like that was coming this holiday. I legitimately forgot what was announced. Was it? Oh yeah, Hyrule Warriors. That was coming this holiday. And I
I
think
see.
Pokemon Legends too. Yeah. So for Air Riders, I think it's yeah, like you said, it might come out in 2026 at most because I think also just give time for people to like play Mario Kart World, for
Yeah.
like for holidays because they're gonna be restocks and then after that people they're gonna want to play Mario Kart instead of Air Riders. But yeah, you grew up playing Kirby Air Ride. I've never played that game. But so I'm just looking at it on YouTube right now, and yeah, it looks very, very hectic compared to Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Like I thought Mario Kart was bad. I mean, I thought Mario Kart was like really like crazy.
Mhm.
Well, this is like super fast, and
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
and
not
then
yeah, it's
yeah,
not
and it seems
quite
to
as
have like a lot of
approachable.
different type of mini games, like a top ride, like a racing game from like a top view,
Yeah, it's the
and
top ride,
also yeah,
yeah.
like a battle game, and like yeah, like you said, City Trial, which I'm looking at right now, is also like looks like a battle type of game, which yeah,
Yeah, City Trial
yeah, looks
technically, you're preparing for a battle in that you're collecting a bunch of
okay.
power-ups, weapons. There's all different vehicles, and then you get sent to another stage where sometimes you battle. Like I think there was one, yeah, that you fight like King DDD, for instance. Other
Mhm,
times you're just fighting other enemies. Other times it's like target practice where you're trying to fly one of those stars into like the
mhm,
highest score and things like that. That's something I think I really miss because that's not in any Mario Kart game. It's kind of a
mhm,
Mario Kart world in that you could drive around and do what you like, but I kind of like when it has that purpose. And you mentioned earlier that it can get kind of overwhelming when it's open world. I think it's, at least for me, more tolerable when you have some kind of purpose, when it's not just kind of aimlessly go do what you want. So
mhm,
what I'm hoping is that I hope that City Trial in Kirby Air Riders, it has a similarity in that they give you some kind of purpose, whether it's powering up
mhm.
your character. Sometimes they do things like, oh no, Dynablade, the giant bird, is in the city, or there's like, a bunch of fires that you have to avoid and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I'm sure they'll come up with a lot of cool new things too. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I fully trust Sakurai to like deliver a really well-rounded experience to it, and yeah, it looks pretty cool, but I, I don't know about yeah, it's not like my type of like dish. It's not my type of like flavor, but I can definitely see like a lot of funness with the game
Yeah.
for people. Yeah, yeah. It looks pretty good, but yeah, but yeah, like I said, oh yeah, I'm looking at the reactions to it right now. Uh, let's see, because I saw like on like social media, like people are so excited to see Sakurai's name pop up,
Yeah.
which is like it's definitely like rare for like a lot of these game studios to just like bring up the creator's name unless like that creator's name is like very very well known.
Yeah.
Like with the Okami with the Okami 2 announcement, it's like it's not just like they announced Capcom is making it, but they also announced like the creator of like the original Okami is making it too, and that
Mhm.
got like a huge round of applause. So yeah, but Sakurai is like it's nice to see that like a lot of people are so excited to know that the original designer or the original director is back for it because he does bring in like yeah that sort of that promise that the product is going to be hopefully good
Yeah.
basically yeah.
Yeah, I just hope he, doesn't, like, sacrifice his, like, his well-being to make it. And like, I mean, I kind of get it. I mean, I'm, half Japanese. I mean, not to his extent, of course, but I get that in Japanese culture, it's like considered like, oh, super honorable to like, work long hours and things like that. But it's like, I want the
Mhm.
guy to like still be okay and that he still has time for like his family and such. So if it does get delayed to
Yeah.
2026, like, as long as it comes out, I'm good. At least it's not like a false announcement where it's like, "Oh, just kidding, we're not coming out with this game at all. We trolled you all."
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah. So I think we talked about like most of the games that the directors covered. We did talk a little bit about, yeah, we already talked about Donkey Kong, the best announcement for last. We talked about Mario Kart World. We talked about like whatever like you want to actually buy the Switch 2 at launch if you can or not.
Yeah.
And also because you make your YouTube channel, I think you have to, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I
Um,
do my short videos, most people, despite
yeah,
the name of my channel, like they see me as the video game like guy.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, basically, yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I have not bought like the PS5 yet. I have not bought the Xbox Series X yet. I do have an Xbox Series S. With the Nintendo Switch 2, the lineup of games so far, like, is mainly the first party games that kind of that interest me.
Mm-hmm.
But the third party games, I'm like kind of like, hey, I don't know. I already have some of these games on Steam,
Yeah.
or like, yeah, or already have my Steam Deck with me.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I might wait like maybe until 2030 to make a decision. Like once the PS6 is out, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like speaking of which, like just the lineup of games and just looking like with the Switch was the first Switch and not a Switch 2. Do you think the Switch 2 will surpass in sales with like take over the Switch 1? Or do you think it's just gonna be like sort of complemented? Because overall, it just feels like just a direct upgrade. It doesn't feel like it's gonna really push the gaming technology envelope any further either.
Yeah. And I noticed that Nintendo consoles that tend to be like, upgrades, they still sell well,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. And like, I think about like comparing the original NES to the Super Nintendo and then comparing the sales of the original Nintendo DS to the 3DS. Their successors, while they sold well, they didn't surpass the sales of their
Mm.
predecessors. So I think part of the reason the original Switch sold well, one, it was marketed much better than the Wii U, like just in the sense that people were aware, okay, it's a new Nintendo console with detachable controllers, and you could take these games, with you portably. But with the Switch 2, since a lot of the upgrades are basically like, graphical improvements, I think it'll still
Mhm.
sell well, but I don't think it's going to sell quite as well. Like, I don't know if it's going to reach that 100 million milestone that the original Switch had. Yeah, and it's funny because I thought the original Switch, I wasn't sure if it was going to sell 100 million units, and guess what happened?
Yep, it surpassed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, how much has Switch one sold so far? Sold units. Oh yeah, as of February 4th, 2025, the hardware sales passed 150 million units.
Yeah.
And but let's see, they said PS2. Oh yeah,
It's getting
and then the
close. It's
all-time console
almost
sales
at like
record was the
PS2
PS2. Yeah, PS2 was
territory.
PS2 is 160 million units.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like PS2 is like the best-selling console of all time, basically.
Yeah.
And then Switch 2, I mean, the first Switch, yeah. It makes me wonder, like, like, why not? How come it hasn't surpassed the PS2, do you
Yeah,
think?
well, I think the one of the reasons, and of course, the PS2, had some really great games. One of my favorite video games of all time debuted on the PS2, Metal Gear Solid 3. But I think part of the reason was because of its DVD compatibility. Like I've heard some
Oh
people
yeah,
bought
yeah,
a PS2 just to play like DVDs because it was the most affordable
yeah.
DVD player of its time, whereas the original
Mhm.
Switch. I mean, you could of course like stream like Hulu and Crunchyroll, but so does your iPhone or iPad.
Yeah, like I also heard that like PS2s, like there were games that were still being developed for the PS2, even 20 years, even like after 20 years has been out. Like FIFA
Yeah.
games, basically. Like people who buy the consoles and they just only buy like one type of game, which is like FIFA, like in other countries like Brazil or whichever other country in South America.
Yeah, and
Because
Sony
because
didn't discontinue the PS2 until like right before they announced the PS4, if I remember correctly. So
yeah.
I still remember there was like a few years where you could buy it for like $100. And I think another thing that helped the PS2 was because when the PS3 came out and it was like so expensive, $500 to $600, I think some people, maybe even parents, just thought, hey, do I want a $500 PS3 or like a PS2 that's like much much cheaper in comparison? And like my kid has got to play PlayStation, so what am I gonna pick?
Yeah. So like so let's say the Switch and the Switch 2. Like I think Switch 2, this is just a very rough, like uneducated estimate, but let's say wait, how much is wait, how long has the Switch 1 been out?
Since 2017,
Um,
so 8 years.
okay. So yeah, let's say 5 years or so. Um, yeah, I don't think like lifetime sales is not going to surpass the PS2, obviously. It's not going to surpass
No,
this
I don't
the
think
first
so.
Switch, no. Because I think the gaming market itself has also gradually adapted to it too.
Yeah,
Because now, like I keep saying, Steam Deck, but it's also like I think Sony is also like floating the idea. I think Sony or Microsoft, I forgot.
I think
The
both
floating idea
companies.
of like a portable console or like a
Yeah.
portable like handheld console.
Hmm.
And then you also got like a portable console like the Meta Quest 3 and Meta Quest 2,
Yeah.
which is I mean it's VR, but that's not like a whole different type of like ballpark altogether, but still like portable. Like a lot more devices out there like portable now just for the convenience, which
Hmm.
I'd say thankfully thanks to Nintendo like all like pushing that sort of like market forward. But now it's like but now it's like with the Switch 2, it seems like kind of like stagnant basically. Like yeah, it's not gonna surpass anything. Um and I don't know, 5 years down the line, maybe like the type of games that's gonna come out for the Switch 2, like in the next 5 years, I don't think it's gonna be like major like PS5 or Xbox Series X or the next PlayStation or next Xbox games. Maybe it's still gonna be like the old games that's going to get ported to Switch 2 for third parties. But and of course Nintendo, they're still gonna stay in their lane by just making like really good first party games that will definitely sell a lot, like Pokemon. Like even if it's like a really bad Pokemon game that a lot of people will complain about online, Pokemon is still gonna be like a system seller basically.
Yeah.
Mario's gonna Mario is gonna be a system seller. I don't know about Donkey Kong, but
Yeah.
if or Kirby, but yeah, Mario Kart is gonna be a system seller.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah,
I think the main thing that works in the Switch 2's favor is that it is clear that, it is a new console because I think about like how the Wii U, for instance, and at least the, reason I think a lot of people think the Wii U just tanked in terms of sales was because for Nintendo fans it was very clear, oh, it's a new console, but for the mass market consumer, everybody, the vast majority of people that buy it, it's hard to explain the Wii U. I think it's like, is it a Wii with HD graphics? Is it just tablet controller? And even when they came out with Super Smash Brothers and the 3D Mario game, it couldn't, save the Wii U's sales. It didn't even cross 20 million units in its lifetime. So I think the fact they're calling it, a Switch 2, I think, is that in itself, like, at least promises that it's not going to tank as far as the sales go. I mean, hence
yeah.
why PlayStation, they just keep calling it PlayStation 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, it clearly
And then
works for
meanwhile, the
Sony.
Xbox One just ruined the Xbox brand forever. Like, so it's like, yeah. And then yeah, like oh yeah, PS2 just like yeah, I got everyone to know like oh yeah, this is a new upgrade, and Nintendo Switch 2 is like oh yeah, new upgrade, but what's in it for like this ease of accessibility for me besides it being like portable?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been
Excuse you.
talking a lot, but yeah, you can go on.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say that. So I just think about there's things like how the Switch 2, it's not like it's we're in that era where DVD was new and that it's like the most affordable DVD player, so it doesn't have that going for it. And because it's not like radically new console, like, going from the Wii to the Switch. My guess as far as the sales go, I wished I was like, I could do good predictions and be like a sales analyst. I'm not sure if it's going to cross 100 million units, but I wouldn't be shocked if it does cross like 50 in like, the first maybe like 5 to 7 years. I mean, I think like a good average, if it could sell 10 million units a year, then it's selling like pretty well. Like, I think that's kind of like the average for
Yeah.
a new console, or something like that.
And do you think like new games going like here on out, you think like the new first party games, you think they're gonna be like $80 from now on, or just gonna be like for scale? Like, Donkey Kong is gonna be 70, Mario Kart World is gonna be 80. But what about like games like, let's say, I don't know, the next major Pokemon game, or the next major Zelda game, or the next major Mario game? Like do you think those type of games is gonna be like $80? And and of course, like even when the price is high, of course I think it's still gonna be successful. I'm not sure if it's gonna be as successful as like the previous generation,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still gonna make like it's gonna push in like a lot of like sales forward. It's gonna make like 10 million copies like in the first week or something for like these type of like brands. But do you think like going on from here on out, you think like all these games are gonna be like $80 or so?
I mean, I really hope not. Going into this generation, I was expecting 70, which is already like pretty high. Like,
Yeah,
we're coming off of generations where, the price used to be $60 a game. I
yeah,
think the
and the economy's getting
ones,
worse.
yeah, I mean, I think in particular, if it's like a really high profile game like, Animal Crossing, Pokemon, Mario, those I could see them asking $80. Not because I want it that way, it's just that Nintendo is aware that they're, very popular franchises. Like, especially those three, those are like so popular that, like, even like, my parents know what those three franchises are. So if it has that kind of like, staying power, I think they're gonna ask 80. Unless it's like a spin-off,
Yeah,
like the next Mario Golf or something like that.
yeah, and like I said before, like with $80, then you know for sure that the gaming market, like other non-Nintendo companies, they're gonna follow suit, basically.
Yeah.
And like Nintendo, they don't, other than maybe Smash Brothers or like Mario Kart in a way, the microtransactions, like let's say Grand Theft Auto 6. I know for sure Grand Theft Auto Online has like what that like pay real money to get fake money, base to use that fake money for like new houses and cars and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And that game is like very profitable too. I think it made like $2 billion so far or something, just
Yeah.
just from like the online component. Even so, yeah, like Nintendo could get away with like these games just costing a lot because the games don't you don't really pay for microtransactions. You just get the game, you get like a really good experience out of it, and there you go. And you can like replay it as much as you want for some of these games. Or just get like, yeah, replay as much as you want, or you get like a really big like unique experience, which sort of I can see the justification in $80, but for me personally, um, like it makes me a lot more apprehensive or a lot more reluctant to like pay $80 for it. At most, maybe like 60 or 50, but only if I have like a coupon or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, but man, they should bring back like game rentals, like Red Dots or something. But
Or the other
yeah,
way, I,
the Red Dot.
kind of can't believe I forgot to bring this up or buy used because at least it's not like the Switch 2 is a digital only console.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of digital stuff, like I wish on these digital games they would like make the price cheaper. Like let's say Mario Kart World. If it's $70 for digital, whatever. Physical, $80, sort of, I guess. I think, but yeah, these companies like they just make more money either way,
Yeah.
if like digital or not. Yeah. And yeah, like I said before, Mario Kart World is gonna be like one of the best-selling games of all time. No doubt
Mm-hmm.
about that, because it is bundled with the console.
Yeah.
I think they count it as that too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's like. it's a dark future in a way for
Yeah.
gaming, I guess.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I just
but
kind of go into these kind of things thinking that, don't like, surprises can happen. Because I used to have this kind of
mhm,
mindset of like, and it's understandable. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pay $80 per game, but surprises can always happen. It's just, I just
mhm.
don't tend to like, immediately assume that
Doomsday, yeah,
predictions
yeah,
are like, that's it. It's set in stone. You can't change it.
yeah. Otherwise, Nintendo Switch 2 will be a really good console to play just free to play games. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, in a way, like when you think about it, it's like play some of the like you could either play your Fortnite on the PS5 on your couch, or you can play Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch 2 on your no, on your bed, almost a toilet, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it still has that benefit of being just a portable console, like, and not as bulky as my Steam Deck. It's just like, thin enough. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it still has like a good benefit. I think it still will sell a lot though.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it's like the price itself and the games. It's just making people like a lot more like reluctant in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay. Well, I got nothing else to say about Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, we
But
covered a lot.
otherwise, yeah, yeah. Otherwise, like I don't, like I said before, I don't really plan on like buying it on launch day because I got like other priorities I'm saving up for.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for you, Bobby, I mean, let's say theoretically you're not a YouTuber, you don't have like a channel, and you just play games just for fun. Would you
Yeah.
buy the Switch 2 on launch day? Would you buy any of the games at 70 or $80 on like, the first year? Or are you just like just gonna wait? Like just think about your
Well,
financials, think about your everything. Yeah.
yeah. Well, as I said earlier, my birthday is like a few days after the Switch 2 comes out, so even if I wasn't doing YouTube, I'd at least try. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I have that kind of mindset of being like a kid on Christmas, where like if a new console computer comes out, I want it as soon as possible. And like I said, I have a reason. It's not like I have to wait for Christmas, so I still want to try. I mean, I don't always get like new Nintendo consoles right when they come out, usually because I either underestimate the hype or just bad luck, not enough in stock. Like I know that like my original Wii, I didn't get that at launch. The same with my Wii U, but for the Switch 2, I'd still like to try.
Yeah. So yeah, there's Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, man. It's a good console, basically. The yeah, not much not I don't have much else to say about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but yeah.
I think I think we can wrap things up from here. I'll just
Okay.
keep you guys posted on social media as far as when I could get one. I'd love to do streams of the games that I'm excited about, particularly Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Kirby Air Riders. So, all right, so I'll wrap things up before I start wrapping things up 5 times. So, thank you to all those who have stopped by. Thank you, Ross, for coming on and doing this video.
All right, thank you for having me on, Bobby.
Yep.
Like I know we hardly talk to each other about like
But
Nintendo
it's
stuff,
still
but
fun, but it's just priorities, life is
yeah.
crazy and just
Yeah,
but
it's fine, it's fine.
it's still
But
cool. I mean, and in recent as of the last year, I've been trying to reconnect with a lot of like high school and college friends. So it's always good to still
yeah.
that we're still in touch. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I
if
still
you
got like so much thoughts on these like video games and all that. I just want to get it out there. So yeah, sorry if I just ramble on too much all the time.
Oh, it's still fun to
Yeah.
talk. So yeah,
Yeah,
if you,
it's fine.
so everybody out there, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and so you'll know when I either post Switch 2 gameplay or unbox the console itself. And until next time, this has been Blood Moon Bobby and Ross, and thank you for